Welcome back to Project U 7.0. Today we're going to talk about how you are going to climb the ladder in corporate if this is what you want as a black woman. And let me be specific. I'm not for fancy titles if your bank account isn't being filled. When I mean climb the ladder in corporate, I'm meaning you are getting paid in the top 1%. And I'm going to share with you some tips and strategies to ensure that you make sure that you're collecting the big bucks as a black woman in corporate, if this is what you so desire. So the first thing I need to explain is corporate is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the weak, especially as a black woman. But I want you to shift all of that off of you, because if you are going to be climbing the ladder in corporate as a black woman, you cannot be going in there with a victim mindset. That is number one. You go in there as if God, because he is the one that put you in that seat. I firmly believe any space and environment I am in, and I'm usually the only black woman in that space, I am there because God put me there. Therefore, I do not need to pander. I do not need to move like a victim. Any space, any environment, any social club, I'm there because I deserve to be there. That's the first thing that needs to happen. You need to take off the victim mindset that even if it is true that they're trying to be microaggressive, even if it's true that they don't value your work, you sit at the table owning your skills, owning your experience, as if God put you there. That's the first thing. And this is really key though. It has to be God that's put you there. You have to thrive in the right environments. And I firmly believe in prayer, because I understand that a fish out of water cannot survive. If you put a fish on land, it won't survive. God intended the fish to be in the sea, and they don't need to get taught how to swim because that was their natural environment. You need to pray and ask God to put you in the environment that you are meant to be in. Not all corporate spaces are equal. And the moment you feel and you understand this corporate space that you're in is actually working against you, isn't there for you to thrive, isn't going to pay the big bucks. I'm talking you've been there 6 years, 1 year, maximum 2 years, and everything is microaggressive. Your work has been devalued. Move. Let me repeat that one more time. Move. You are not a tree. You have to be very ruthless when it comes to moving in corporate. You have to be very ruthless when it comes to be moving in life. Be as shrewd as a serpent, gentle as a dove. And this is so important, because you need to make sure when it comes to doing well in corporate, you are in the right environment and you know whether you're in the right environment or not. The third thing is you are there to get paid. If you want to thrive in corporate, because you are not a tree, if you see your promotions are getting stagnated and it's been 5 years and they're throwing you a couple of peanuts, $1,000 here, $2,000 there, it's time to move. It is absolutely time to move. What you must understand is being stagnant when it comes to your salary, being loyal. There is no place as a black woman to be loyal in corporate. These are not your friends. Your daddy doesn't own the company. This is not a family business. This is you always. The only thing that you can be loyal to is yourself. So you need to be assessing how are you developing, how are you growing. And you go into each role looking to up your skills. And with that skill set, your salary needs to be upped. You cannot be a sitting duck who is taking on more responsibilities. Your skill set has been developed, but your salary isn't changing. So you need to be, I'm going to use the word aggressive with this. You need to be very aggressive with this. If your salary isn't increasing, you have to be one of those people every 2 to 3 years, you jump ship. You jump ship because you are loyal to your bank account. Do not be loyal, I would not even say only as a black woman, as any woman, to a corporate job if you are not getting paid. Your loyalty, first and foremost, is to God and your bank account, the beginning, the middle, and the end. If you also want to survive in corporate, let me tell you something, skill set comes into it. But one of the things, darlings, that you need to get so good at doing is building relationships. Build relationships. You need to get good at visibility and building relationships. That has to be one of your primary objectives. And if you're an introvert, I will put my hands up and say, I'm an introvert in life, full stop. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You can't be an introvert when it comes to building a relationship portfolio in life, full stop. This is even in business. Like, you need to get good at nurturing and building relationships. This doesn't mean that people are in your business, because we're going to go into that in a second. But this means that you are good at coffee, water cooler tank conversations. Hi, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, small talk, smiling. Fake it till you make it, darlings. Fake it till you make it. You do not, by the way, building relationships. Nobody in corporate needs to know about your assets. Nobody needs to know about your investments. Nobody needs to know that you only fly business class. Nobody needs to know about your Chanel bag. That is not building relationships, because I promise you this. Let me let you into a little secret. You do better if they think that you don't have money. The moment, and this regardless of your race, because I think sometimes if you're a black woman, you think it's because you're black. No. Regardless of your race, I promise you this in life, in corporate, showing off your assets, them thinking that your money is all the way together is a hindrance to your development. I don't make up the rules. I'm not in charge of the rules. I'm simply here to make sure Project You version 7.0 is the one whereby you collect the big boys checks in your corporate career. So just look well put together, basic well put together, groomed, tidy, monochrome. The office is not the space to be doing the most when it comes to people thinking that you have money. That's not the space. Visibility. You need to be, when I say visible on the big boy projects, contribute. Make sure that you claim ownership for your work, because corporate is in such an environment whereby people will try and claim ownership for your work. That is just the way it works. And I'm going to say an uncomfortable truth. One of the things and ways that you can determine whether your corporate career is going to be one whereby at the moment where you are, you're going to collect the big boy checks, is look at your boss. I'm not into making generalizations, but you will most probably fare better as a black woman with a boss who is a white male. And if you are looking at your boss now and that is not what's in front of you, and you are not collecting the big boy checks, time to change the boss. And if the only way you can change the boss is leaving, leave, move. I repeat, you are not a treat in any aspect of your life. If something isn't working for you, if the odds are stacked against you, you have to get comfortable with saying no, thank you. And I can't say any part of life, there's no part of life you can succeed very well without God. Corporate is one of those. This is going to be very unusual, but every time you touch the ground of your office, every time you enter that space, bow down to your Lord, go into a little quiet room, a meeting room, and pray and ask him to take charge of the day. Life is fully spiritual. It is nothing less than spiritual. And the corporate environment is such, you don't even know who your secret enemies and haters are. So if you're to thrive and get to that table whereby you are getting paid the big boys checks, you need God in front of you. You need God to be the one fighting your battles. You need God to reveal the things to you that you do not know that are going to enable you to succeed. This is so essential. God has to go into the forefront. And if God is in the forefront, you have to pray over, whether it be corporate career, your business, the work of your hands, Always be praying over the work of your hands. Let God direct you to be diligent. Let God ensure that your work of your hands are accurate. Let God make sure that no one takes your seats of promotion, because anything belonging to you on this earth, we absolutely forbid for anyone to sit in your seat. A seat that belongs to you, assets that belong to you, you shall own your possessions. And this is so, so key, because at the end of the day, if life is fully spiritual and you are not doing your bit, you won't be able to survive in corporate. Because in corporate, I promise you, there are agents of the devil working in that environment. And if you're not in the shelter of the Most High, there is no way that you're going to be able to thrive in the way that you should. The key, though, I would say with corporate is really making sure, I can't stress this enough, you must be in the right environment. If you are not in the right environment, it is very, very difficult to thrive. And as a black woman, the right environment is going to be the decider of whether your bank account looks like you are struggling or you are collecting the big boy checks. And I firmly believe, as a child of God, there is no way. I mean, the word says, I have plans for you to prosper, so why is that not happening? And this isn't a prosperity gospel, because I know sometimes religious people, the moment you mention money, they want to say prosperity gospel. No, you are not meant to be poor if all things are aligned spiritually. You are absolutely not meant to be poor. Uncomfortable truth, but it is the reality. So, darlings, if the corporate world is for you, please play the game. It is a whole entire game. And in playing the game, you always do what's best for you. Don't ever sit in any seat in corporate, whether you're just starting out, whether you're 2 years in, 5 years in. Don't ever sit in any seat being loyal to anyone but yourself. The loyalty that you owe in corporate is to you and to you alone.